For more analysis on this, let's bring in Dave Lawler. He is the world news editor at Axios. Dave, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Before we get into Pelosi's trip, can you give us some background? What does Taiwan represent to China? And why was this trip such a big deal?
Sure. So China describes Taiwan as a renegade province. Basically, they view it as integrally part of China. But of course, de facto, it's its own country. It has its own government. It's a democracy. And it's a country with which the U.S. has very close relations. And China is very concerned about the U.S. moving closer to essentially recognizing Taiwan and refuting any claims of China's that it's part of China. And so China has been warning that it's willing to take control of Taiwan by force if necessary. It reacts furiously anytime something like this happens. And again, we haven't had a visit on this level from a U.S. dignitary in 25 years. And so that's the context for why tensions were so high ahead of Pelosi's visit. Now, she has left after almost 24 hours on the island, but the fallout, as you just showed in that package, is just starting in terms of military drills and these repercussions that China has been saying will be coming. We're starting to find out what those might be.
Dave, the administration is saying in front of the scenes, hey, we don't support Taiwan being an independent country. What are they saying behind the scenes?
Well, in the lead up to this trip, they were very concerned about Pelosi making it. And Biden actually came out on camera and said the military doesn't think it's a good idea right now. We know behind the scenes, there were conversations between Pelosi's team and the Pentagon, basically laying out their concerns, why they thought this was going to be something that caused tensions. And that was also, you'll remember, leading up to this call between the presidents of China and the United States, President Biden. They were worried that this Pelosi trip could really lead to a tense phone call between the two leaders and could drive relations into an even deeper hole than they are now. So they've been preparing for this fallout for some time, but they're also warning China that, look, we know there are these military drills coming and things. They say that's provocative. China should watch how it responds. There's the possibility for some kind of miscommunication, things getting off the rails here. And so they're also warning China to be careful with how they respond to this visit.
Do you think this takes us into a war? I mean, that's what a lot of people on the street are asking.
I don't think this in particular incident, and of course, you never want to make firm predictions when we are about to come into about 5 days of military drills from China right around Taiwan. There's always chances that when things like that happen in what is quite a narrow area where there are also ships, U.S., Taiwan are all in this area. But experts don't think that China wants a war over this right now. The concern is that the U.S.-China relation when it comes to Taiwan is so off kilter now that we're sort of, spiraling, and that eventually this could lead us closer to some kind of serious confrontation. Taiwan is, if you ask experts, what's the one thing that could lead the U.S. and China to war? Taiwan is really the thing that's blinking red right now. And so, I don't expect in the next 5 days when China's holding these military drills for all of a sudden there to be an invasion, there to be a war. It's of course possible, but most experts think that the real concern is not the immediate next 5 days, but what happens in the next couple of years. Are we moving closer to this point of confrontation over Taiwan?
Dave Lawler at Axios, thank you.
Thanks for having me.